There's a special kind of pain that happens when your life finally stops accepting your excuses before you do. Welcome back. This part of Can't Hurt Me moves from the bad hand into the mirror. Not the motivational mirror where you say, I am powerful, I am successful, I am basically a superhero with laundry problems. This is the other mirror, the one that reflects exactly what is there and does not care whether you are emotionally ready for the lighting. In Truth Hurts, Goggins shows how the early damage did not magically vanish once the immediate danger changed. Trauma leaves residue. Poverty leaves habits. Fear leaves reflexes. Even when something good appears, the old system can still keep running in the background. That is one reason this part matters. Escaping a bad environment is not the same as becoming free from the patterns it built. The chapter moves through instability, shame, and the growing distance between possibility and reality. Goggins is not yet the impossible endurance figure people know. He is a person carrying fear, avoidance, and a body that reflects years of losing the internal argument. The book keeps dragging the reader toward an unglamorous truth. Your life becomes visible before your explanation is finished. That is where the accountability mirror enters the story. The idea is brutally simple. Look at yourself, tell the truth, and write down what must change. Not vague truth, not soft truth, not the kind of truth that says, I should maybe eventually become somewhat more aligned with my potential. Actual truth, the kind that says, I am overweight, I am afraid, I am lying to myself, I am not doing the work. The mirror matters because it removes the audience. No one is clapping, no one is impressed, there is no performance. It is just you and the evidence. In that moment, Goggins turns shame into a tool. Shame can rot a person from the inside when it stays vague. But when it is named and attached to action, it can become pressure. Not pleasant pressure, obviously. More like emotional sandpaper. But sandpaper has a job. Then the impossible task shows the size of the gap. Goggins is working a grim job, far from the military dream he once had. He's gained weight. He's exhausted. The physical reality of his life is no longer compatible with the identity he wants. This is where many people negotiate with themselves. They lower the dream until it fits the current self. Very convenient. Very tidy. Also, spiritually suspicious. Goggins does the opposite. He lets the gap hurt. He lets the impossible look impossible. And then he starts acting anyway. That is a central lesson in the book. The scale of the task is not permission to avoid the first rep. A giant transformation is still built from ugly, specific, repeatable actions. This part is also a warning about inspiration. Inspiration is often too clean. It loves before and after photos because they skip the middle, and the middle is where dignity goes to get tested. The middle is sweat, boredom, cravings, mistakes, and the constant temptation to turn one bad day into proof that the whole mission was foolish. Goggins' method is not to wait until he feels like the person he wants to become. He behaves his way toward that person while feeling like the old one. That is harder than it sounds because the old identity fights for survival. It says this is not you. It says you always quit. It says one day off will not matter. It says many things, and most of them arrive with excellent timing. The accountability mirror cuts through that noise. It keeps the target visible. It makes the lie harder to repeat. The point is not self-hatred. It is self-contact. There's a difference. Self-hatred says, I am worthless. Accountability says, this is not good enough, and I am responsible for the next move. That distinction is why this part is useful. If you only take the aggression from Goggins, you miss the structure. The structure is name the truth, set the standard, attach action, repeat. The emotion can be intense, but the process is concrete. By the end of this section, the book has moved from pain as background to truth as instrument. Goggins is no longer just describing what happened to him. He is building a method for refusing to stay shaped by it. The mirror becomes the place where fantasy dies and work begins. Thank you for watching. Next, the book enters Navy SEAL training and the idea of taking souls, where pressure stops being something to escape and becomes something to use. The final thought here is simple. The mirror is not cruel because it tells the truth. The real cruelty is spending years defending a lie that keeps you small.